I'm life and business coach Samantha Sifring, and this is the Online Business Building Mamas podcast, where you learn how to build a wildly successful business from home while raising kids. Hello, mamas! This week I am starting something new on the podcast that I hope you love. When I created my program, Mama to CEO, I was intentional about making sure each module video was less than 10 minutes long so you could easily and quickly learn, take action, and implement. I know that you all have very full plates and lives, and you do not have time to spend an hour a day learning before you take action to grow your business. That is not the best use of your business time. This week, I had a realization. Why was I so conscious of your time in my program, but not with my podcast? What in the world was I thinking having my podcast be 20 to 30 and sometimes longer minutes long? You do not have time for that. You have a lot of work to do. And if you're like me, you probably have a big backlog of podcasts to listen to now that you're spending way less time in a car and you have no time without children around. So starting now, most episodes of this podcast will be about 10 value-packed minutes long. The same amount of value and mind-blown moments as before in half the time. That's my goal. So let's get to it. To get more clients in your business, you absolutely have to become visible. This means the people that you're hoping will hire you need to know 3 things. First, that you exist. Second, that you can help them. And third, that you're open for business. You can achieve this in many different ways. I actually have a list of 59 ways to get more visible that we will link up in the show notes for you to help you get your brain thinking creatively about all the ways that you could be more visible to your ideal clients to help them know that you exist and that you can help them. Inevitably, when my clients start doing the work to become more visible, they experience this feeling. My stuff is out there in the world, and I feel terrible. Has this ever happened to you? Have you ever posted something or put something out in the world for your business and then felt completely horrible? I call this feeling visibility shame. And I've noticed that it keeps a lot of you from showing up in your businesses enough to hit your goals. Sometimes it stops you before you've even taken action to get visible. And sometimes it hits after you've taken that action when you completely withdraw because the intensity of the visibility shame is enough to make you desert the grand plans that you had in your business. Here's what's actually going on when this happens. It's a sign that you've left your comfort zone and you're really letting yourself be seen in the world. It feels terrible because it's a risk. You're risking rejection and the social isolation and death that we fear might come with rejection. Getting visible flies in the face of many of the common things that hold women back in business. Perfectionism, people-pleasing, the overwhelming socialization that we've received our whole lives that tell us not to rock the boat, to sit down, keep our mouths shut, stay small, and be pretty. See, getting visible is not just about being seen and heard. It's about being seen and heard in your truth, not just posting the same generic messages that everyone else posts that are fluffy, comfortable, safe. True visibility is about being seen as you truly are, in your authenticity with your real message. You know the one. the one deep in your belly that feels like a fire that wants to come out, the one that you're afraid to put out there, the one that you know people won't like, and you probably have a list of people who specifically won't like it, the one that you know will get you some haters, the one that feels like your calling and your mission. The generic vanilla one isn't going to build a multiple six-figure business. The fiery, risky one totally will. So when you take action to start sharing that true, deep message with the world, bringing it to more and more people, the part of your brain that wants to keep you safe is terrified. It thinks that you're risking your survival. And when you face the fear with courage and you do it anyway, hot shame seeps in. You feel it in your body, and maybe your face feels hot, and you want to just crawl under a blanket and hide and never come out. In this moment, I want you to know that you're in good company with everyone else who's ever chased a dream, put themselves out there, and done something truly great. This feeling is part of the price we pay to make our dreams into our realities. Your brain's going to try to tell you in the moment that you're making a big deal out of nothing. It was just a podcast episode or a Facebook post. Get over it. But don't listen. Anytime you risk showing the real you in the world, it is a big deal. And the feelings that you have are valid. So next time this happens, here's what you do. First, let yourself sit and feel the shame. I think that shame is one of the worst feelings in like how it feels to us that we can ever have. But the interesting part that I've noticed about shame is that it passes really quickly if you let yourself feel it. But when you resist it, it lingers and it jumps out to scare you into silence. But when you let it be there and acknowledge it without trying to fight it off, it fades away. When I'm experiencing shame, which to me always comes with a feeling in my stomach, and then my face feels really hot and my cheeks get really red, I name it. I say, this is shame. And I keep thinking, this is shame, over and over to myself in my mind, sometimes out loud if I need that too. And I notice all the sensations of it in my body. I'm thinking about how my face feels. I'm thinking about how my stomach feels. I'm curious about where else I might feel it. And I'm really conscious to keep breathing through it. Sometimes we forget to breathe. So remember to breathe. I let myself sit there feeling it. And before too long, what I notice is that it starts to dissipate and then it fades away. And when you process your shame all the way through, the memory of the situation that sparked and triggered that shame loses the emotional charge. You'll be able to remember it without shame. When I was thinking about this topic, what came to mind for me actually wasn't even specific visibility shame at first. It was another incident that I felt immense shame about, and then I went through this processing exercise, and it's amazing, but every time I think about that memory now, I feel no shame. And it was a very intense, shameful experience for me at the time. And ever since I processed through the shame, no shame. It's like it happened to somebody else and I just look at it totally objectively. So when this happens to you, give yourself that time to really process through what you're feeling. And when it comes to being more visible in your business, processing the shame you feel will allow you to continue to take consistent, massive action in your business without downtime. Eventually, you'll get used to taking that action and it won't trigger visibility shame. Doing a Facebook Live is no longer going to create that same feeling, but maybe a podcast interview will. Each new visible action you add will bring up some of those same old feelings, and you can process them the same way. I know that I used to feel a lot of visibility shame whenever I would go live. I would do the live, and then I would sign off, and then I would just feel awful. And I would just have to sit in that and let it pass. And then I got really used to doing Facebook Lives, and it never bothered me again. But when I got interviewed on my coach's podcast, after it was over, I had the same experience of total visibility shame and doubt and questioning myself and feeling awful, because that was the next level for me. So just know, it's going to keep coming up, but you know how to process it, you know how to deal with it, and the quicker you process through it, the quicker you get into another visible action. Okay, mama, bring your passion and authentic message into the world. It's time for you to get out there and get visible so people will know that you exist, that you can help them, and that you are open for business. If you like this podcast, I want to invite you to coach with me over in my program, Mama to CEO. There's you, and there's the consistent income you want to make in your business, and I help you remove everything standing in between. It's lifetime access for mastering your marketing, sales, time, and everything else you need to have the business and life you really want. Whether it's making your first 1,000 or 100,000, I can help you do it. To join, go to mamatoceo.com, mamatoceo.com.